Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton have announced an extension, a multi-year extension of their partnership with Fanatics, the company who bought Kitbag. If you don't know, we went down to the Royal Liver Buildings, Everton's headquarters, where Baz spoke to Sasha Ryansev from Everton and Danny Downs from Fanatics.
We are here at the Royal Liver Buildings. I am joined by Sasha Ryansev. Sasha, pleased to meet you. And this is Danny Downs from Fanatics. Pleased to meet you, Dan.
Likewise.
We're here to discuss a new deal that Everton have signed, or an extension to the current deal. Danny, just tell us a little bit about the relationship between Everton and Fanatics.
I think Everton fans will remember the old Kitbag deal, which was retail, e-commerce and merch. We've extended that deal through Fanatics, which is now the owner of what used to be Kitbag, and we've been able to deliver something that's an enhanced deal to the club, and what we're really confident is going to be enhanced service to the fans as well.
Sasha, how important was it for Everton to continue the relationship with a company that they trust?
Well, as Danny just said, it's an enhanced deal for us. Fanatics are a much bigger business than they used to be. They're a truly global business, and I think the importance of it for us is to expand into different geographies to ensure that all of our fans are well served wherever they are based, whether they're in Liverpool, London or Kuala Lumpur, and therefore we felt that was exactly the right deal for us to extend. It also takes us to the new stadium in Bramley-Moore Dock, and we're working very closely with Fanatics in terms of the design and the fit out of the retail space in the new stadium as and when it comes about. And overall, we're looking forward to a long-standing relationship.
Danny, about this store at the new stadium, is it going to be a bigger and better thing than Evertonians have possibly seen before?
Absolutely. I think it's fair to say we've done what we can with Goodison, with the constraints and you know the footprint that's available. What we really like about Bramley-Moore Dock is that it's a stadium that's going to be befitting of the club. Its history. It's a club that it's a stadium that the club deserves. What we need to do is we need to deliver a store and an experience that the stadium and the fans deserve. So we think they're going to get the best. They're going to get the best match day experience. Hopefully they're going to get the best on pitch. But actually when they come into the store, we're going to deliver something that not only Everton fans haven't seen before, but fans anywhere else have seen before either.
I suppose a lot of fans will be asking the question in terms of, maybe Danny can answer, but I'll ask it to Sasha first anyway, in terms of being able to get kits in other places other than the local, the local area. I know that you can buy them online at the moment, but we get a lot of feedback for what we do, with people saying it's difficult to get hold of a shirt. So has that been important as well in the decision, to extend the deal?
I think it is very important. It's pretty much part of being a family, an Everton family for us, and it pains us to see if a fan can't get hold of a shirt in, say, Australia to pick up a geography. And that's where I think it's such a good fit with Fanatics, because whilst they're a global business, they're also local in terms of their distribution networks, and therefore they will be able to serve our customers better. I think Daniel will explain it in more detail, perhaps, in terms of the vertical integration and the model that we have. But to briefly touch upon that, we are enhancing the deal both in terms of the value, but also in terms of the services that we can possibly get out of Fanatics, and therefore we very much hope that we won't get any problems or any issues with distribution and the availability of kit and other merchandise going forward.
Excellent. Dan, do you want to give us a little bit more background then onto how that's achieved?
Yeah, I think if I hear you right, I think that there are two challenges that you regularly get and that we regularly get. One is Everton fans here and nationwide, and then there's Everton fans around the world. So whether those are fan clubs in North America or Australia or even further flung parts of the world. Fans here, by and large, have been served traditionally, as you know, through Everton 1, Everton 2 and Everton Direct. What we can do is we can strategically partner with distribution networks, whether that's our own distributors into stores, or whether just having a shoulder-to-shoulder relationship with somebody like a JD Sports and get it through there and have them deliver the product nationally. It's becoming more strategically important for us to be aware of who else is out there in the market and how they serve fans, because we have such a broad network of rights and partnerships, and everybody wants access to that. So we need to figure out how we do it. In terms of fans globally, we are investing pretty heavily in a distribution network which has distribution centres across North America. We're going to open a second distribution centre in mainland Europe. We've got a distribution centre in Hong Kong. We're going to open one in Shanghai, or just outside Shanghai in Shenzhen. And then we've got a couple of distribution centres in Japan. And that's just before the year is out. And then, so what we're going to do is then embellish that with really strong carrier management relationships, so that basically fans, wherever they are, can get access to product more conveniently, more cheaply, and basically more readily.
And just what for people who might know how big Fanatics is, this isn't just because people will automatically, I suppose, think it's Kitbag still under a different name, but it's much bigger, as you've just said, but it's much bigger than that now, isn't it? Yeah,
it's evolved. Fanatics is a $2.5 billion business, so it's the largest retailer of licensed sports gear. So if you just think sports fan gear, we sell more of it than anybody else in the world, and so that is now the home of what was Kitbag. And the reason why we were so attractive to Fanatics and why we've become so important is because they want to become a global business. All of the brands and clubs that we deal with, they want a global footprint. It's why they tour the world. It's why the NFL plays games here. They want to connect with fans in not just their home continent, but in the 2 other major continents, depending on where you are. So are we. And so what we're trying to do is give everybody an out-of-the-box solution which says it doesn't matter where our fans are, they'll get the same level of service.
Fantastic. And Sasha, one of the strapline I saw on when you'd done an Everton Business Matters podcast was to do smarter deals. Does this represent a smarter deal for Everton Football Club?
I very much hope so, yes. And as I say, it's a different deal from what we had before. It's enhanced. And it takes us to to the global audiences that we may not have been able to access before. It's enhanced in terms of value as well, and it takes us on a long-term path towards the new stadium. So it also fits together. And yes, I think it is smart, but who am I to judge?
Well, there you go. That's it. Thank you very much, Danny, for your time, and thanks very much, Sasha, for your time.
There you have it. Baz talking to the big hitters at Everton and at Fanatics. Looks like a good deal, doesn't it, on the surface? We had Kitbag for 10 years, then it went like 8 years, and then it became Fanatics. And we've signed an extension, obviously. Now, if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, Baz, about should we sign up with Fanatics, I would have just said no. I would have pulled the plug after 5 years. But we carried on with them, and I'm thinking we might have just reaped the rewards of it, or might be reaping the rewards of it, because this company are huge, and when we sat down with them and had a little chat with them privately, the ideas behind the business are really interesting and really compelling.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Kitbag thing was, although it was innovative at the time, it wasn't a great deal. There was numerous problems, and it just wasn't very good at all, really, to say the least, and people were quite angry over it, weren't they, some of the stuff that went on. And you're right, if you'd have said to me a couple of years ago, should we, what would you say if we stayed with these, you would have been saying, get out as quickly as you can and get something new. But since then, obviously, Fanatics have bought Kitbag out. Fanatics, I didn't realise how big they were until a few months ago, and you should have seen, I had a look into them, and this is a billion pound company throughout the world. It supplies NFL, MLB, NHL, all of
NHS.
It doesn't supply
FBI,
the MLS, Formula One, England. So you go through Real Madrid, there's behind the supply. So it was really interesting when we were asking about things like how easy is it going to be for Evertonians to get kits, because
that's the top and bottom of it, isn't it?
But that's it.
That's all people care about.
At the end of the day, I surmise, and Sasha Ryan said, kind of indicated this, that it's a better deal than it was. So therefore it's gone up. So that's good. Monetary value's good. But it's ease of product. can people get it where they need to get it?
That's all that
And
matters.
that was a big thing.
That's all that matters, isn't it? At the end of the day, we can sit here and talk about, oh, this deal and that deal, but all people, bottom line is, most people think, can I get my kid a kit 4 weeks before Christmas, when you've had that run of early on run? That's all people care about, isn't it? You know, can I get that?
And when the kits come out and they sell out quickly, and it's like not getting.
Can I get these socks?
Not getting them in for 6 weeks.
Yeah. What? And that's all people care about. Forget about the numbers forever. That's all we care about. And speaking to them, they basically said to us, now, with the way the Fanatics are doing things, they should never run out of kit. And we'll hold them to that.
Yeah, 100%.
We will hold them to that, because they said their supply chain, the way they do things, the way that they do a lot of things in house. They were talking to us about the deal they just signed with NFL, where there's essentially, it's NFL have signed a deal with Nike, but Fanatics basically make all the kit, and then, you know, for Nike, so they should never run out of kit.
So Nike just put the tick on.
Well, I imagine Nike design it, and then Fanatics go and make it. They said they've got a big factory in Tampa, so they're 2 hours away in America, but they said they've got manufacturing abilities in the UK and Europe, the Far East. So what that should mean is, hopefully, fingers crossed, people who live in Australia, people who live in the Far East, people who live in America shouldn't now have to worry about, and again, we'll hold them to this as well, shouldn't have to worry about ever being overcharged for a kit, ever worrying about shipping. If you buy from EvertonDirect.com, it should come from America, not coming from the UK. And that's not only an issue with the prices, because I've seen how much it is to get the shirts in the States. Yeah. That's things like, if you buy a shirt and you get it and it doesn't fit you,
being able to change.
And now the money, you have to send it all the way back to England. So I'm hoping, number one, that means it'd be easy to get online, so a lot of Evertonians will buy directly from the club because they're thinking it's helped the club. But also, if they're cheaper to manufacture and cheaper to ship in places like America, then more stores in America will take it on. Because I think that's been one of the big problems as well. Because I think there's this idea that other shops couldn't sell it. They could in the last few years, and we've seen that in the UK, JD and you know, a lot of airport places, but in America there's only a few select places that will sell it because it's so high. So places like Upper 90, I think, in New York would sell it because it's a shop I think they've got 5 or 6 shops in New York, but it's like $95 to $100, and then once you get the name on the back, that puts people off buying them. So we can bring that price down a little bit, so that somebody walks into a shop, and we've said this so many times, who isn't an Evertonian and goes, oh, I like the look of that shirt, and just buys it, because that's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want.
Well, you just bought as far as I'm aware, you're not a Cubs fan, are you? So you just bought.
No, there's nothing wrong with the Chicago Cubs, by the way.
No, there isn't. No, that wasn't my point. My point was, you've seen something you like and you've bought it. So that, you know, and through buying that, I'm not saying you would do it, but people in America might go, oh, that kit's great, or the Far East or Australia, that kit's great, and then, well, what's the story behind them? And you just don't know, do you?
Or if you've got a player who plays for a certain country, you used to say there isn't like a lot of Brazilians who are like, oh, I love Richarlison, I love Bernard, I want an Everton kit. I'm not massively affiliated to them, but while he's playing, I want to jump on that, and that helps. Another thing you were talking about as well is that the ease of which, like, almost like the throwaway fashion as well. So if you go into Primark, whatever's flavoured of the month, you probably be able to grab a t-shirt with that on now, and it is that throwaway fashion. They were sort of talking about something similar, where that, if, you know, we have, let's hope, some period of you know, success or localised success in terms of someone scoring goals or whatever, they can, you know, do a run of stuff or commemorate something.
It just
or whatever.
makes it, and they can do it quickly. Yeah, that's the big thing. The ability to bounce on it quickly, get it turned over, and get it out, get it while it's hot, kind of thing. And I suppose the big thing for me was the amount of times that they mentioned the new shop at Bramley Moor. That was a big thing for me, of how much of an impression they wanted to make with this new superstore at Bramley Moor. And you know, that will be a big thing. The Liverpool shop, when you go past Anfield now, looks really good.
Well, so I suppose, I mean, that was one of the first things they mentioned was, you know, when they were talking about multi-year,
we pressed them on it.
They weren't sort of, didn't want to. It sounded like more like a rolling contract in a way. But the fact that they spoke about the stadium means it's going to be at least, you would think, 5 years.
Yeah.
Is the minimum of this deal. And then they were talking about the shop. They said, well, you know, we want to build something for the shop. In other words, I imagine they want like a flagship store, huge shop that, you know, Evertonians is, you know, somewhere where Evertonians can go and there are lots of products and there's an ease to which they do things, and maybe there's other characteristics. You know, you own a lot of the modern shops now, and there's something very interactive about them. You know, there'll be like huge video walls and things you can do, and maybe I don't know, maybe
put a little cafe in it as well.
Well, I imagine there'll be a lot of cafes around there anyway. But you know, maybe even an area where you can go and buy, you know, the latest, you know, NFL top or NBA top. So that suddenly you're like, it's not just an Everton experience, and it's an all over Fanatics experience. So I mean, that's just added stuff, isn't it? But that was mentioned all the time, the new stadium. So they were very excited about that, and they were very excited about the whole deal. So it all sounds very promising, and hopefully, listen, the bottom line is you can just get a kit, order a kit, it comes, it doesn't turn up with a Man City tag on it or something like that. It's very individual to us, because that was another thing they spoke about as well, is Fanatics now having the capability to turn out a lot of their own merchandise for a club and make it, you know, licensing deals. Something I spoke to them about was in America they have licensing deals with Disney, so they have club merchandise with the likes of Marvel and you know, Star Wars and Disney characters on, which is, you know, great for the kids. Honestly, it's great for the kids. So there's those kind of things as well, and hopefully as we go forward we'll start seeing more of that kind of thing.
All of everything that helps, and the ease of it is good. And you know, Sasha and have said a few times about it's a better deal, and you know, you'd like to think that he's the money man, he's the man, one of the men in charge with getting better deals for Everton Football Club, and you hope that as we go forward this plays out for, you know, to be a better deal for Everton. Obviously the proof will be in the pudding, of course it will, but for some people who are probably thinking this is a safe option and this is kitbag and all that, this is chalk and cheese to what kitbag was, compared with that deal that was signed 10 years ago or whatever. This is a totally different deal, it's a better deal, and they're a much bigger company than kitbag ever were. So you've got to look at it that way. But you're right, none of that matters really. The only thing that matters is that when people want to buy Everton merchandise, they can get it, and they can get it quickly.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, let's not confuse this also with a kit deal. This is a whole thing, but a kit deal, I imagine, will be coming later on. So we don't know anything about that.
The other thing as well is these use Adidas, Nike, and stuff. So it might give Everton a bridge, if they chose to go a different way from Umbro, a bridge into those other big organisations as well. So
yeah, they've got good relationships with those companies. So we'll wait and see. This one's a good one. I think, you know, as you know, Sasha was saying, it's about getting smarter deals. Better deals, smarter deals as we go forward. So there you have it. Let us know your thoughts. Hopefully, you know, there'll be no worries over kits. I'm still waiting for that new Ranger training kit, the shorts though. Still can't get them. Need to sort it out. I did ask them. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you later.